Hi guys, let's do guess number higher or lower. So we're playing the guess game. The game is as follows. I pick a number from 1 to n. You have to guess which number I picked. The number I picked stays the same throughout the game. Every time you guess wrong, I will tell you whether the number I picked is higher or lower than your guess. You call a predefined API called this, which returns 3 possible results. So if -1, then our guess is higher than the number that they picked. So number is greater than picked. Or pick, if it returns 1, then our guess is lower than the number they picked, so num would be less than pick. And if 0, then that means our guess is equal to the number they picked, so num equals pick. And they want us to return the number that they picked. So in example 1, n is 10, which is the number, okay, so basically we have numbers from 1 to 10. They pick 6, so we would output 6. In example 2, the number they pick is 1, or n is 1, so we only can have one possible number, which is 1. So they pick 1, and then we would output 1, because that was the pick. In example 3, n is 2, so we have a range from 1 to 2. They pick 1, so we would return 1. So basically, this is just going to be a binary search where our range, like our left is going to start from 1, because that's the lowest possible number, and our right is going to start with n, because that is the highest possible number. And then we're just going to calculate mid as normal and just do a binary search until we get to their pick. And we're going to just check if the return from the API is -1, 1, or 0. And that is how we're going to decide whether we return the pick, which would be mid at that point, or if we need to adjust our left and right. So let's get started. So we're gonna start with left is 1, not 0. Right is going to be n, and then we're just going to do our typical binary search. So while left is less than or equal to right, then we need to initialize mid, which is going to be left plus right minus left divided by 2 as normal. And then we're going to also save the result that we get back from calling the API in a variable. So we'll say result is guess, and then we will pass in our midpoint. Because basically, so like let's take one of these examples. Let's say n is 10. Then basically we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to pick from, right? And then if they pick 6, so first of all, left is 1, right is n, which is 10, and then our midpoint is going to be the midpoint of these two, which is 10 divided by 2, right minus left. Yeah, 10 divided by 2, which is 5. So mid is 5. And then, so we're going to check if, so we'll pass in 5 into our guess method, our API or whatever, and then it's going to be less than pick. So yeah, num is less than pick, so it's going to return 1 in this case. So if that's the case, then we need to adjust left to be mid plus 1, right? And otherwise we need to adjust right to be mid minus 1. So if result is 0, that means that we found it, right? Because that means num equals pick. So then we would return mid, because remember, mid is the actual number itself. So like if pick was 5, we would return 5 in this case, because that would be the number. So otherwise, if result is less than 0, that's going to be this first situation where num is greater than pick. So if our num is greater than pick, that means pick is going to be in the left side. So we need to make right equal to mid minus 1. So right is mid minus 1. Else left is mid plus 1, which is the case here, right? Because our pick is 6 and our mid is 5. So 5 is less than 6. So this would return 1. Yeah. So then left becomes mid plus 1. So left would become 6. So once left becomes 6, then the midpoint of these two becomes, let me think, 10 minus 6 is 4 plus, 8, so mid becomes 8. Sorry, I don't know why it's taking me so long. And then 8 is going to be greater than our pick, so this is going to return -1. So we're going to go with this one, so right becomes mid minus 1. So right is going to become 7. And then now our mid is going to become 6. And then it's going to return 0. So then we would return 6, because that would be mid at this point. So we can just go ahead and, well, we would just return mid here, but for the sake of having a return value, we can just return -1 at the end, in case we don't find it, even though, like, we will, because that's, like, kind of how it's defined. But let's see. Okay, because, like, we're always going to return it, because we're always going to find mid, supposedly, like, if it's in here. Otherwise, like, they're just, like, if pick is a number that's not in here, then we would return -1, but, like, that's not really possible based on what they gave us. So anyway, our time complexity is going to be O of log n, where n is literally n in this case, because that's like the number of numbers we could possibly have to be searching from. And then our space complexity is just O of 1. It's constant because we don't have any data structures here. We're just doing a binary search. So that was it for this problem. I know it's pretty simple, but thank you guys for watching. If you found it helpful, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!